Welcome to the Champion Blueprint Podcast, where mindset meets mission.
We're diving into what it really takes to lead, win, and live with purpose.
From NFL locker rooms to boardrooms, it's all about discipline, core values, and the habits that build champions.
Whether you're leveling up in business, life, or leadership, this is your playbook.
Champion your mindset.
Champion your purpose.
Let's go.
We are back again. Guess who's back?
Hey.
Back again.
Yes. Shady's back.
Tell a friend. Hey, welcome again to Champion Blueprint, the podcast. George Rogers, as always. Man to my left, the champ himself, Gary Brackett.
Let's go.
And we back again, man. That song, man, just kind of flashed in my head. Music today versus music when we grew up.
Man.
If we gone through this whole versus battle thing, and some of it, now I'm at the point now, like, can we take like let's say the 80s to the 2000s, right? Let's go 75. We make it 25, 1975 to 2000, and then take, that era from 2000 all the way up to today. Is there really a battle when it comes to all genre? I'm talking rock. I'm talking about cut.
Yeah.
Like, it's like everything's different now compared to what we grew up. Like, and shout out to J. Cole, T.I. They put out some new music so far this year. It's been hitting pretty good. It's good to see T.I. to come back and lay it down and show he still got it after so many years off.
Yeah, the interesting thing, I think, is going to lead to what we're talking about today, just about our age when we experienced that music, and even I think the era of how we experienced it and the access that we had, the technology and all those type of things. I think we grew up in a different time with different expectations, and some of those things led to like how we shaped our beliefs and how we operate today. And I think a lot of those things are different, right? For the better or worse. Yeah. But I think you really have to recognize how you approach certain things and just be cognizant of where did that come from. Yeah,
I think about the last couple of weeks trying to do more in the house. There's a running joke, and it ain't even a joke, it's just a running fact in my house. 20 plus years, and like I can count on like my hands and toes how many times like I've done laundry in those years. A couple of times a year. Like, I'm not talking about, hey, I gotta hurry up and get this. It's like she does all that. And so I've been very focused this year as I'm cutting back on technology and social media, trying to get my phone stuff right. But also, how can I do more and be more active, supporting and doing, like, I love cooking, used to love it. Now I'm just like, man, she throws down. I don't even got to worry about it.
Yeah, no doubt.
Relax those things. But one thing I always love, and I usually do it whenever I'm frustrated or something's on my mind, is clean. And I remember growing up on Saturdays, it was like Pine Sol Saturday in the house. Mom had the music, old school music. It was like, and so I ended up turning on this some old school music. Dexter he loves him some Ray Charles. Like, he likes it. He's got the old school. He loves his new stuff too, but he really likes the old school vibe, and he'd get down and clean with me. And I realized early in my childhood how, like, music really, like, I knew the mood of the house based on the music that mom and grandma was playing, right? I knew that slow R&B, we must be cleaning, right? And then it was like a little upbeat R&B. I knew that, some people coming over, we're about to hang out outside on the porch.
Blues, somebody died.
Yeah, somebody died. And so it's like, we about to set it off up in here. Like, certain music really set the tempo. And I started thinking about in our childhood. And today I want to talk about, just kind of throwing back, because I started thinking, Gary, I was asking myself in the last couple of weeks, and it's just been stuck in my head. Would your younger self feel safe with who you are today? Will your younger self be proud of who you are today? And a lot of the things that we do in life, and you think about a lot of people, why they do what they do, their purpose in striving, their purpose in going after and growing and developing, becoming that man or that woman. A lot of times I think about, like, for me, in my mindset, a lot of things that I've done in my life was dictated on the pain that I had. Like, my pain really moved me towards my purpose in life and those experiences. Now, I also know, and I identify that sometimes that same childhood that really motivated me, also I still have some insecurities, or I might have some trauma. We talk about the we very vulnerable on like our people pleasing earlier on in our life, and how that was a big part of our early foundation of success, because we didn't want to say no or disappoint and let people down. And so we're always saying yes. And the next thing you know, you say yes to everybody. You have no time for you and yourself. And so I wanted to talk about this because as we grow, and growth is not always about success. That's one thing that I think about. To me, when I think about growth, Gary, I think and identify growth in my life, not just by success, but also safety. I think about it in growth as integrity and becoming a man that I'm happy with, and character. I think about growth as self-respect, right? I think about growth and development and all the things that I struggle with as a child, as a teenager, in high school and college, so on and so forth, like what that looks like today. So I want to talk about this and dig up some skeletons, a little bit of vulnerability for ourselves, but also talk about how those things really establish who we are. And this, I always say, especially when I'm talking to business leaders, I always say, how would you explain to a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old kid what you do? Like, how would you explain to your 9-year-old kid or a 9-year-old kid that, hey, this is what I do. I fix phones for a living. I help people stay connected to technology. I help people have stronger mindsets and beliefs so they can do what they love to do in their life, right? When I think about it, I champion people to lead the life they love versus just living it, right? I want them to lead it with purpose and do what you do on purpose.
That's awesome.
And I think about those things. And so as you're listening and watching today, and right off the bat, we're going straight to the vulnerability aspects. I want you to think about the 12-year-old you, the 8-year-old you. And if that person, that version of you walked into your room right now, wherever you maybe are, if you're in the car, sitting with you in the passenger seat in the car, will they feel safe if they were to walk in? Will that 12-year-old you feel seen at the table where you are right now? Will they be proud and excited, or will they feel pressured as well? How often do you think about stuff like this, Gary? Is this something that kind of goes through your mind? Like, man, I'm so proud that I ain't who I thought I was going to be, or they told me I was going to be. Because I think about those teachers. I had a 7th grade teacher said I'll be dead by 18.
Wow.
Right. So I think about those moments. And I'm like, I'm glad that I'm not that George anymore.
Yeah, man, I can remember something happened in school. You know, the teacher asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And everyone in the class, doctor, lawyer, all the traditional answers. And, I was confident in my one ways. And I was like, I want to be a football player. Yeah. She was like, the class is laughing. It was like, no, pick something serious. What do you want to do when you grow up? Like, there's no football player that came from Glassboro. Like, what are you going to do? Like, no, I want to be a football player. Right. And she's laughing. Well, she's not laughing. The class is laughing again. She thinks I'm challenging her. So it was like last time, and I said it again, right? So then she said that's not possible. Yeah. I might have used some choice words to her, right? I got to sit down to the office.
Young Gary.
Gary had a mouth. He didn't have his filter. He wasn't. So she calls my dad. I come home. My dad was like, hey, boy, what happened to school today? And I'm just, ashamed because I got set down to the office. I didn't get set down a lot. So I'm just like, I had a situation with the teacher, and, she told me I couldn't be what I wanted to be. And she's like, what did you say when I'm like a football player? And then he looked at me, and I'm thinking he's going to be like, what the teacher, like, what do you want to do with a football player? Yeah. But he told me something that was so profound. He said, never let someone's perception of you become your reality.
So good.
And that was so powerful as a young kid, like to not let the naysayers, not let anyone else shape my reality. Yeah. So I think of that from a standpoint of, I got children now, right? 16, 14, and 12. And they go through different things. And, their friends tell them who they can and can't be. And I'm just like, man, never give up that power. And never let no one else shape your reality. And I'm proud that to this day, I'm still shaping my reality. I'm still, chasing the best version of myself. Yeah. So I think that 12-year-old me would be proud of, like, look at you, like you still, doing what you said you were going to do.
Yeah. I think about the clip at Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith, and he's talking to his son at the basketball court, and his son is like, I want to play basketball. And he gets mad at him, and then all of a sudden his kid throws the ball away. He goes up to him, and he's like, you know what? Never let somebody else tell you what you can and cannot do. If you believe in something, pursue it.
Absolutely.
Right? Because he himself in that movie, like people didn't believe in it. He's trying to sell these machines and it wasn't working. And I think so often, I think about the success that is a lot of people that I mentor or coach, like they were driven by something.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of high performers are driven by some of those insecurities as a kid. I think for me, myself, and I'll be as vulnerable, like I am who I am today. I'm busy all the time because that idle time was traumatic time for me in my house. And so I'm a high performer because I was surrounded by chaos, right? My house was chaos. My neighborhood at the time was chaotic. I stay busy and connected to people because I fear rejection, right? I was a young, scrawny kid. I wasn't George. Like I was 5'5" at best, all the way up to freshman, and then I shot up. And so I wasn't like somebody who was always seen. And so that fear of rejection, I wanted to be around a crowd. So I became a class clown, and I was a comedian joker that I found a way to find my vibe when it wasn't connecting. And so you find people that are high performers because they're running and chasing financial stability that they didn't have, the lack of affirmation that they didn't have as a child. And a lot of these high performers, if you sit down with them, a lot of them been vulnerable, you'll see some of the things that they lack that they were chasing in their life. And sometimes it's like a survival mindset. How can I survive it? And it's not the same. When I think about survival mindset, it's not the same as emotional wholeness, right? You can survive and become successful and not be complete yourself and struggle. And we see those type of things in leaderships. We see those in leaders who don't lead well or don't lead at all. They manage and they're high performers, got vision, they're entrepreneur mindset, but they don't know how to do people because their whole pressure, their whole power was built on the insecurity of the lack that they had, and they became successful, so they never have to deal with it or be that small person again and deal with it. I think about this and this step of like the younger me don't need to be perfect. Like when I think about what are some things that younger George would say to older George, it's reminding me, George, you don't have to be perfect. That you can do those things. I think about your story and the story you share with the high school or the teacher telling football is not an option, people around you laughing. And then it's like, you see yourself as a walk-on. You see yourself as a captain. See yourself go through these stages of your life where a lot of people still doubt it. It wasn't just in the classroom. It became part of your story. What's something that you kept in mind? And it could have been your parents, your father. Like, what was something that really stuck with you? What was your pursuit of happiness moment that really stuck with you as a child to help you become this football player, this champion, this Super Bowl champion, this captain? And have that champion mindset to believe in yourself.
Yeah, I think, my parents really did a great job of being together and providing for me, a loving, household. We were middle class growing up, but I think I was the fourth youngest boy, had a younger sister, and I just assumed that I just was supposed to fit in. And just keep quiet and play my role, right, and to be seen and not heard. And a lot of times I think it was like me playing small and not showing up sometimes with that large personality or giving my full capabilities because it was almost like you didn't want to outshine people. And I can remember, like, my brother was a senior, he graduated, and then my sophomore year, I thought I was going to play JV in football, and the first game of the year, I was on the bench, and somebody made a mistake that was a senior, and my coach put me in that linebacker. And the first thing I did was like, I'm out here. I didn't think I was going to play first play of the game. I blitz. 6-yard tackle for loss, right? I'm going crazy, right? And the coach is like, everybody, the crowd's going crazy. It's Brackett. My brother was just the man on the team. So I'm just thinking, I just out here for one play. Just about messing around. So I'm running off the sideline, and the coach is like, so I go out, I blitz again, another tackle for loss, right? So that game I had 15 tackles. I was all over the place, right? And I didn't expect to play at all. So after the game, the other coach from the other side was beelining to me and my coach. The defense coordinator, like, all right, man, you can't blitz every play, but we can clean some stuff up, but obviously you're good enough to play. So the other coach was saying, hey, I'm reporting you, Brackett, right? You are 19 years old, 20 years old, playing with my kids, right? This is unfair, right? You are a senior last year. And the coach was like, who, me? He was like, yeah. I'm like, no, that's not Greg Brackett, my brother. That's Gary Brackett. He's a sophomore. And the coach's face was like,
I got to deal with this for
a sophomore. And the story was, my brother had a jersey. Back in the day, you had to pay extra money to put your name, your last name on your jersey, right? So Brackett. So my brother wore 32. So my sophomore year, I'm like, Mom, like I want to get a jersey. I need money. She's like, boy, you better wear your brother's jersey. Yeah. So I wore 32, right?
Yep. Just continue the legacy.
Because I had Brackett. It was a little faded, but that's what I wore. But I just think people started looking at me and expecting of me to go out there and play.
Yeah.
And before then, it just like I didn't want to give it my all. Like I didn't want to outshine people, but just gave me permission to just live loud. And I think I just continue to do so, to continue to kind of hone my craft.
Yeah. I think as we get older, some of the things that in the transition that causes some of those disconnect is like in those moments, like Gary was very impressive.
Yeah.
But did Gary ever become not accessible, right? Like when you go from not being successful or told you're not going to be anything to actually getting there, you had that discipline, but are you disconnected? So you go through these different things that you fight as you're growing. We talked about the friendship growth and things of that nature last episode. And we talked about the successful aspects of it. Like when people get successful, are they still seeking validation, right?
Yeah.
On these areas. And so a lot of growth happens. One of the things for me that helped me grow was the quote that I said, pain into purpose, and how I was able to really transform those painful moments, whether it was disbelief from a teacher, whether it's people not believing in who you are because of the size, whether it's people thought you weren't smart enough or because you were quiet, right? And so being able to really transform that pain, not just into purpose, but also power. I think about your stories you're talking about with the weight training. Your son went from wrestling to football, really focusing on it and locking in, and like the balance of personal trainer or, man, I can do this myself as a dad, and all this equipment that we got in the house, and what equipment do we need to go ahead and just pump it up a little bit more. And I think about those painful moments. Coaching basketball, and I'll use this. You can go from the weight room or use my basketball team. We've been getting tired the last couple of weeks. So I'm like, all right, we're doing too much of like set plays and not enough cardio.
Yeah.
And they're like, we do a lot of cardio. I was like, there's different types of cardio.
Yeah.
We're not doing game cardio. We're doing we're running, we're doing some stuff, but I got some things. So I put a couple of drills in.
Yeah.
And even just like form and defense, like just, tapping those feet.
Yeah, no question.
And the legs get tired after, 30, 45 seconds because you ain't used to just kind of those different motions. Taking that pain and turning it into power, taking that pain, like you lifting weights, and the first couple of times you lift, if you ain't lifting in a while, your arms go dead, your legs, whatever you're working out, is like, oh, you don't feel it right away. You'll feel some of it, but the real pain comes hours later, right? Especially if you're not refueling yourself and drinking, doing all those things that take care of your body, eating right things, and getting right proteins and all this stuff. Taking that pain and making it power and transforming those things. When I go back and talk about the younger George again, those are conversations without how do you take pain and turn it to power, take pain, turn it to purpose, without letting it become your true identity? Because sometimes you have those people say, I went through this hell, and that hell is there, like it's part of your story, but doesn't have to be part of your identity. Does that make sense?
No question.
You look like hell and you've already gone through it, like look better than what you are today. Like, how do you take those painful moments and not let it be your full identity? It's your story, but it's not your identity.
I think the challenge with some people, they identify as victims.
Yeah.
And they identify as...
I didn't want to say it, but I was I'm glad.
Yeah. They're identified as victims. And they blame so much of who they are, who they become based on their childhood.
Yep. Absent parents, right? So I like, and I'll say that never meeting, I met my birth father once. Yeah. That was at a funeral when I was young. And it used to be my identity. That was because I ain't had a father in my house.
Yeah. But so this is my belief now. I stand firm on it. Just like, you know what? Forgive your parents for not giving you the love that you thought that you needed.
Yeah.
But then forgive yourself for thinking you need that validation.
Say that again.
So forgive your parents for not giving you the love that you think you needed.
Yeah.
And then forgive yourself for thinking you need that validation.
Yeah.
And it'd have been awesome if we all lived in these loving, encouraging households, right? But that's not the case for 90% of us.
Yeah.
Like, life was hard. We struggled. Everyone has this story of overcoming some sort of adversity. But I think the most powerful you could do in your mind is reframe that from you being a victim to you being a survivor, like a champion. And I say this all the time during my speeches, like, you're here today because you have survived 100% of your bad days.
Yeah.
100% of your bad days, you survived.
Yeah.
And now you probably thrived as a result of it.
Yeah.
So I just reclaim your power and not making some of the things that happen to you, right, your identity, and just continuously living in that, oh, well, this person said that I couldn't do this, so I still having that belief.
Yeah.
I used to do these workshops, and I would call it like the wolf, and I would tell people to draw their wolf. And the wolf is the person that told them that they couldn't do something, they couldn't become. They kind of like put them in there, and people would draw out these things, right? And it's typically their parents or grandparents or something like that. But it's just like being not afraid to challenging that person, and doing it despite.
Yeah.
Because most people think I didn't have support, that's why I didn't do it. You got to do it if no one supports you. Yeah. You got to believe because you believe in yourself. Right. And I think that's the really powerful thing that I took from my childhood. It was like, it's great to have a mentor. It's great to have a coach. Yeah. It's great to have people that believe in you. But if you don't, that doesn't necessarily should be a reason why you shouldn't go after it. Yeah. And I think some people need to let go of that governor and let go of those misaligned beliefs that were once maybe even true. Yeah. That no longer hold the weight that they should, and is really acting as a weight, or is really acting as armor, and you're not going to be able to elevate and go upwards until you let some of this stuff go.
Yeah. A lot of times we turn those moments, those wounds, those struggles in our life into our identity, and it reminds me of like my mindset was like, I'm the strong one. Mm-hmm. But I would go home and I would cry myself to sleep because I felt alone, right? When the strong one becomes the emotional isolated one. Yeah. I'll handle this on my own, right? So my mom, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. Mindset, and that person becomes distrust. Yep. I'll never need anyone. Mindset. I don't need anybody because all they do is take that painful moment, and that person just becomes lonely. Yeah. Right. And I have to prove it to myself. And what I realized is that person becomes exhausted. Yeah. And in order to truly grow, like the younger George, speaking to yourself, the younger you, if you're feeling like that moment of your life, especially if there's some closets and some monsters underneath your skeletons in the closet, or some old luggage that you're still carrying around from childhood because you're avoiding those things, I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you, because I still deal with young George at times, but I know that as I grow, I see those tendencies, and this is what I believe happens, Gary, when we grow, and we can talk about a lot of the changes that happens. Like growth happens when you acknowledge that wound. Yeah, growth happens when you extract what's the lesson into this? What was the lesson in this childhood memory? What was the lesson in this childhood trauma? What was the lesson in why I was afraid to deal with this or ignore those things for so long? What was the lesson in those things? And listen, and I'll say this, pause, time out. If you deal with mental health, if you deal with any of those struggles, like, find help. There's people out there for that, especially men, Black men. Like, it's okay to talk. It's okay to be vulnerable. And like having a counselor, having a coach in my life to be able to talk about those things, and a mentor that I can trust to be able to be vulnerable enough to release the identity of my childhood, to become who I wanted to be, right? And so it's like I had to wear this mask, but once I was home, the mask came off, and I was still broken and ashamed, and wondering if I was good enough, if I belonged, or asking those questions, why me, when the door was open, and instead of saying, why not me? This is where I belong, and this is my purpose. And so, having these type of conversations, one of the things that I always coach people that's dealing with either childhood trauma or, trying to continue to heal and grow out of bad habits from childhood is, what did the pain teach you? Right? When you're ask yourself, what did the pain teach you? What is the pain trying to teach you? Correct. What is the lesson? that's trying to serve you in this area. Another thing that I think about is what part of it no longer does.
Yep.
Right. What part of it no longer does teach you belong? What needs to just, hey, you got to let it go.
Yeah.
Right. Don't have a hold on who you are, who you become. It happened. You're better for it. And as you said, how do I apologize for the expectation of what I thought I should have and apologize to myself to make me think? That's powerful tip that I take away, Gary. How do you then, as we continue to live the life you love? I talk about this because when I think about living the life you love, I believe it requires integration and not just performance. Yeah. Because as you grow, you're trying to become that football player. They laughing at you. Yeah. That performer mode is like, I'm going to show you, not necessarily just on the field, but off the field. I'm going to show you that I can do this. Yep. How do you switch it from integration? And what I mean by that is like, how do you integrate core values? How do you integrate the lessons that you learn? How do you integrate those things? So like you're integrating these things and not trying to impress other people. You're not trying to perform to prove somebody right. You're trying to integrate a lifestyle to prove yourself right.
Yeah, one of the greatest lessons I learned during COVID, and we talked about this in previous episodes, you know, I had to fall on a grenade, I had to close my businesses down. Unfortunately, went through a divorce at the same time. And my whole life, I was kind of taught to be the strong one. My whole life, I was kind of taught from my mom, who was an ordained reverend. She would tell me, as a leader, the greatest among us will serve. So my mind, as the people pleaser, I always want to serve, give. Yep. But then you realize, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. And what I now realize is, like, fulfillment first and then serve.
Say that again.
Fulfillment first and then serve. My cup has to be full and remain full in order for me to then serve. But in order to be full, I got to understand what fills it. Yeah. What fills the cup? So it's just like, even it's like people say, I don't like that type of food. Like, have you ever tried it? Yeah. Have you tried it a different type of way? Or I never travel. I don't like that place. Like, have you ever been there? Yeah. Have you ever been to this part of there? Yeah. So for me, like, I was traveling during 2020. I was eating food. I was doing different things. Yeah. I never thought I could cook. Yeah. Right. And there was just a self-limited belief that I just gave myself, and I just owned it. Oh, I'm a man. I don't have to cook. Right. But now I cook. Right. Yeah. So I've always done laundry. So it's like all these ego things that were once self-limiting are now powerful because, like, yo, I do enjoy this. I do enjoy a clean house. And I don't have to wait for someone to get this done. I could do these things myself. Yeah. And I think it's just powerful moving from that thing where you're fulfilling yourself and you recognize, you have requirements from others, but the biggest requirement you have is for yourself.
Yeah. It's good.
And you have to, like, stay true to that and answer the call that young George is calling. Yeah. And being the person for him. And I think that's just powerful in itself, and just recognizing, like, you have power. Yeah. And not giving it up.
Yeah. This reflection this could go really, really deep, but I want to keep it close, and maybe we'll do a part two. We'll retouch on some of these things. But I think about the integrator versus the performer. And I remember about 10, 15 years ago, I felt like I was just performing. Yeah. I was on the lights, stages and all. And I was like, I'm performing this adulthood life. I'm still doing it. I'm still trying to prove somebody, you know, this person wrong that I ain't never seen since, right? I'm still trying to prove that seventh grade teacher I ain't gonna never talk to. I don't even know if they're alive. And so I was performing leadership. I was performing adulthood. I was performing relationships. I was performing marriage. I was performing confidence. I was performing this servant, attitude and servant leader mindset. I was performing strength and what I thought it looked like, until I realized I still was weak. Right. And so when I think about integrating, what I mean by that, as we wrap this up, Gary, I think about strength plus softness. Right. I can be strong, but also empathetic. Yeah. Right. I think about ambition, but also present. Yeah. Where I show up for myself, but I also still show up for others. I think about discipline, but also think about joy. Like, you don't be so disciplined and hard on yourself that you forget to have fun and live life and live it at the highest level. I think about accountability, but I also think about compassion. Yeah. Because I was once that George that, didn't know how to deal with accountability. I was once that George that wasn't, successful in the eyes of myself and or others. And so integrating some of those things are key aspect of that. And one thing I always say is, are you building a life that looks good, right? Or are you doing something that just feels aligned with where you are? Am I doing this because the people around me? Am I just soldiering up and this is kind of the nature of things? Or am I doing something that really makes me feel proud of who I am on a daily? Why do you do what you do is a question I always wonder. Yeah. Why do you do what you do?
My mentor and coach, Kendall Ficklin, he's from Atlanta, and he said this bar before, and I just like, man, that's so powerful. And he said, man, I don't want what it looks like, I want what it feels like. I don't want what it looks like. Yeah. I don't want the performance. I don't want people thinking I'm perfect. People thinking I'm strong. People thinking that I never fail. I'm never, I want what it feels like. Yeah. I want my kids realizing like, yo, daddy's not perfect. Daddy did some things that he's not proud of, but every single day he goes out there and lives life to its fullest. Yeah. And he's not afraid of failure. And he's not afraid to speak up when something's not right. And he's not afraid to leave or move away, when something no longer aligns with what he does. And I think that's so powerful to like chase that feeling and no longer cares what it looks like. Yeah. I think it's just a powerful way to live your life.
Yeah. So who are you today? That's the question. And are you happy with who you are and who you become? Will the younger you be proud? And think of it this way. Celebrate who you are today, no matter what. If the younger you is like, I'm still a little bit disappointed, celebrate that, one, you still above the ground and not below it. Yeah. And look at your life in a surface way, not in some highlight reel of all the great things that you see other people do and display on social media. I want to make it a point to show like all my failures here. Like I want to talk about more of my failures that I do, because social media gets all these glitz and glamours. Yeah. But I want to talk about like the things that don't go right in the life of George. Sure. That'd be something that'd be funny to kind of see. But as we wrap up, I think about, as you talk about your younger, your coach in Atlanta. I always remember something that was said to me, and my pops who adopted me, Tim, is that you don't have to be who your environment said you were supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's like your childhood explains you, right? Your childhood explains you, but does not have to excuse you. Like you can't live a life and blame it on your childhood. You can't live a life and blame it on your past relationships. You can't live a life and be the leader in your business because of a past leader and the way they treated you. The goal isn't to be outperforming your past. Is really to just strive to live and outgrow it and live a life that's purposeful and that matters. Like at the end of the day, people always talk about the dash on the tombstone. I always think about, what are they saying when they walk away from my grave? Yeah. What are they really saying? What are they saying the year later? Right? What are they saying the next day? Those words matter more. Did I live a life and made them keep my name in their mouth and speak life? Is my legacy still living when I'm gone? Like death is a tragedy, but the tragedy to me is not the death itself. It's what dies with that person that may never live again. And like when I think about, man, if this is my last moment, is my life meant for more than just the 43 years on this earth? Yep. Or will it live another 43 because I challenge people to champion their purpose? We challenge people to champion their mindset. Yep. We challenge people to get a championship blueprint on every aspect of their life and live it well and lead it with purpose in their life. And so any last parting words, Gary? We talk about like our inner selves, becoming whole, becoming healed. Like take some moment and some time to really find yourself and heal and address those issues that you may be struggling with from your childhood.
I'm like mad that we got to end right now, right? Because there's so much stuff that I want to get into. But I just want to remind people that you aren't your failure. Yeah. You aren't the worst thing, or you aren't the worst day of your life. And I think sometimes we think that failure is so large that we can't come back from it. We think people are actually like looking at us because of this thing that happened, whether it was a failed relationship, a failed marriage, whether it was a failed business, whether it was, an accident or anything like that. We go out the world thinking that everyone is just looking at us and we got egg and pie in our face and we're ashamed of it. And I'm telling you, to reclaim your power. And I'm telling you, to go out there and live life fully, not because you're despite them, right? And what I realize is that people don't really care.
Yeah.
People don't really care. And if you go out there and rewrite your story, people will love to read it. Yeah. But you have the pen and never forget that.
Yeah. You know, what I hear you say is growth is when your strength no longer requires armor. Like when you have healed, when you become the best version of you to where the things that used to trigger you no longer trigger you, your growth is like, it's there, right? Yep. The growth is in the strength that you no longer need the armor to guard your heart because you know who you are. You love yourself. No doubt. To guard your mind because nobody can say anything that's going to dictate anything other than what you believe. Like the battle in your mind starts there, and you're strong enough to know that it's what George believes and not what somebody else believes about you.
Yep.
In that, so we're going to leave you there. As Gary said, we can continue to have this conversation. Tap in, message us, PM us. We can continue this conversation. If you're looking for some coaching, live coaching, talk about these a little bit deeper in this conversation. Gary and I, we do coaching cohorts, workshops. We can talk about all those great things. Looking for a great keynote speaker. I mean, no one or two.
Go.
You can get Gary and I for the price of one on a stage at your event here locally here in Indianapolis, but we travel all over the world together. But until next time, please make sure that if this podcast meant something to you, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. It helps us out knowing that you appreciate this content that we're producing. But until next time, make sure you continue to champion your mindset so you can champion your purpose. Let's go.